What up guys, Nick from What Up MC here, and today I'm bringing you guys a video about how to maximize your efficiency on May 19th, Charmander Community Day in Pokemon Go. And by maximize efficiency, I mean most shiny Charmanders possible in 3 hours. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about Stardust, I don't care about XP, I don't care about catch ratios, I don't care about nothing except for those dang freaking shiny Charizard. So these are going to be the 13 tips that I'm going to be following for this event, and maybe you guys can decide to follow some of them too to maximize the efficiency out of this event and get the most possible shiny Charmanders as possible. So step 1, you're going to want to get as many good luck charms as you can possibly find. I know I've got 3. I'm ready. I can catch Pokemon easy peasy like this. No, but for real, this is a serious video. This is hardcore grinding. All right, so forget about that. Really quick, right before we actually get started, I found these clips a while back. I recorded it actually almost exactly a year ago. I found this Charmander nest at a pretty big local nest, and I went there to finally grind out a bunch of Charmander candy to evolve my starter Pokemon. So I had never uploaded these clips, so I don't want to let them go to waste, and there's some pretty funny moments in there. So while I'm talking through these tips, I'll let you guys see some of that sweet footage from the game a year ago and my screw-ups trying to farm Charmander candy, and what happens when I finally decide to evolve my starter at the end. So yeah, let's get right into the hardcore community day grinding tips for the most shiny Charmanders you can possibly get. Number 1, starting off with one that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, but I've thought about it and it's actually pretty critical. So you're going to want to not catch anything 30 minutes before. This applies for people that are going to be grinding in one specific area, one specific park, or a lure spot. Any natural spawns in that area could persist for up to 30 minutes or maybe even an hour if they're an hour spawn, but those aren't really common. And what happens when community day starts, for example, it starts at 2 p.m. where I live. When the clock hits 2 p.m., Charmanders don't just start spawning. The game actually converts existing spawns into Charmanders, as well as Charmanders will start to spawn from that point on. So any Pokemon that are just sort of sitting around there, you know, a random Rattata, a random Pidgey, a natural spawn, that Pokemon could actually turn into a Charmander when the event starts. So if you happen to catch that Rattata, you catch that Pidgey, that Pokemon isn't there anymore to turn into a Charmander when the event starts. So if you want to get a whole bunch of shiny checks as soon as the event starts, don't catch anything in your area for 30 minutes before the event starts, so you maximize the amount of natural spawns that are present in your grinding location. Tip number 2, you're going to want to dump all of your Pokeballs and all of your Great Balls. I know this is pretty hardcore. I've been saving up. I got around 360 Ultra Balls right now, saving for this moment. Basically what this does is that as soon as you start an encounter with a Pokemon, you're not going to have to actually open up the Pokeball menu to slide over and pick the Ultra Balls. You'll just start the encounter right away with your Ultra Balls selected, and it'll save you a couple seconds. A couple seconds saved on every single encounter ends up saving you quite a bit of time after 3 hours. Only throwing Ultras are just the simplest way to do it. You're not going to have to worry about them breaking out and have to throw another ball. Just going to catch them on the first ball and be able to go straight to the next shiny check. The next tip, this one is a little bit less critical, but you're going to want to dump all of your raspberries and nana berries. Personally, I just dumped them anyway, but that was before we had 2,000 bag space, so I have been keeping a little bit. It just saves time. You don't have to slide over to get the golden raspberry to golden raz that shiny, so that as soon as you load into an encounter, you're just going to have to open your berry menu quick and throw a pineapple berry if it's a regular Charmander, or throw a golden raz if it's a shiny. Again, little time savers add up after 3 hours. Tip number 4, I also used to just do this normally before we got 2,000 bag space, but just want to dump all your potions. Super potions, they're not really that useful. Having 2 less items in your bag just makes it easier to get back to your lucky egg and your star piece when you got to put them back on. Again, just a little couple seconds save there, but it adds up. And then tip number 5, this has to do with the 3 previous tips. Obviously, if you're going to trash all of those useless items that you're not going to want to be using, you're going to just get them back anyway later if you just spin some Pokestops, right? So we're not going to spin Pokestops at all for 3 hours. So that means you're not going to get any Pokeballs, you're not going to get any extra berries, you're not going to get any potions. They're going to slow you down. This also saves the time that you would have had to take to click the Pokestop, spin it, then back out. It takes a couple seconds. You could potentially miss a Charmander spawn in that time. Yeah, it saves the time it takes you to spin it. It saves the time that it would take you to sift through those items again. If you spun Pokestops, it would just make the last 3 points null, so just forget Pokestops for 3 hours. But I know what you're thinking, Nick, if you don't spin Pokestops, you're not going to get any of those sweet Charmander quests from spinning Pokestops. Well, I told you, this is about getting as many shiny Charmanders as possible. We're not going to care about anything that's coming out of those quests. It doesn't matter, so just forget about them. Unless those quests give you a shiny Charmander, then I don't care about them. Alright, tip number 6. This one is a no-brainer. You're going to want to clear out the useless Pokemon in your collection well in advance before the event. Obviously, transferring Pokemon during Community Day is a really poor decision. You shouldn't have to do that. It's a huge waste of time. I know a lot of people hoard Pokemon for Lucky Egg evolutions, but just get those done beforehand and transfer out those Pokemon before the event starts. In the couple times that I was tracking my catch rate during other grinding sessions I've had, at a pretty moderate rate, I got around 110 to 120 Pokemon after 1 hour. So that means for a 3-hour event, I need 360 free space minimum. Tip number 7 is evolve your good Charmanders into Charmeleons beforehand. So I've got quite a few pretty decent ones. I got some 89s with 15 attack, I got a 96 with 14 attack, and then I got a 91 that's already a Charmeleon with 15 attack. So let's take this one for example, 96 with a 14 attack. If I just evolve him into a Charmeleon, it saves me time that it takes to do that one extra evolution. It'll still get Blast Burn if I evolve it during the event. It just saves the time that I would have had to take just now evolving it from Charmander to Charmeleon. I only have to evolve it from Charmeleon to Charizard now to give it Blast Burn. Again, evolutions take around 20 to 30 seconds depending on, how quick you are searching for the Pokemon. So in those couple seconds, you could have got an extra 2 shiny checks. Tip number 8, get your Lucky Egg and your Star Piece going before the event actually starts. There is occasionally a bit of lag whenever a Community Day event starts, so you don't want to waste that time fumbling through your bag trying to get your Lucky Egg and Star Piece going. Besides, you're not really missing out on much if you start it 20 seconds before the event starts. To be honest, I'm going to try and remember to do this in advance, and then remember to refresh them every half hour, but I'm probably just going to be grinding so hard I'm going to forget. So I'm going to miss out on some Stardust, going to miss out on some XP, but we're all about the shiny checks. Tip number 9. This one is a big one. Don't incubate any eggs before the event. And if you have eggs incubating, try to hatch them before the event starts. Too many times this has happened to me during Community Day. I'm trying to grind out, the Stardust, the XP while I have a Star Piece and Lucky Egg on. And then I'm walking around the corner, cluster of 5 Bulbasaurs pops up, and then right before I can start shiny checking them, eggs start hatching. And then after I go through the time of hatching 4 eggs, there's only 3 Bulbasaurs left. Hatching eggs really slows down your progress because not only do you have to wait for the eggs to hatch to get those shiny checks done, the fact that you have to wait to do those shiny checks prevents you from moving on to other areas where there are other potential shinies. The only way hatching eggs are going to help you get a shiny Charmander during the event are if you just so happen to spin a Pokestop, which I told you not to do anyway, and then you get a 2K egg, you incubate that, and just somehow that happens to hatch a shiny Charmander, which I don't even know if the Gen 1 starters are still in eggs, but just don't do it. Don't incubate eggs. Save yourself the trouble. Tip number 10. This is something I like to do before every single event or before like a Wafu raid day. I go ahead and screenshot my XP, screenshot your Charmander Pokedex entry, and screenshot your Charmander candy and your Stardust just so you can track your progress, so you can see how much you made by the end of the event. And then maybe while you're at it, just screenshot your collector medal just to see how many Pokemon you caught throughout the course of the event. Even though that shouldn't really matter because you should only be catching Charmanders, don't even bother looking at other Pokemon. Tip number 11, set an alarm to ring 15 minutes before the event ends. This is to make sure that you don't forget to get those evolutions in, get your Blast Burn. You're going to want to use any downtime you have during the event to quickly go in and Ivy check a couple Charmanders so you can star them if they happen to be really high. And if not, then just take 15 or 10 minutes at the end of the event to quickly rush through all your Charmanders, Ivy check them, see if you got some good ones, evolve those good ones and the shiny ones to get Blast Burn before the event ends. Tip number 12, scout out the weather before the event starts. This is so that you make sure you find a good place with nice and sunny weather. Obviously, you can't control the weather. If it's rainy everywhere around you, then it's rainy everywhere around you. Why don't you put some freaking TMs in the game? Which seems to be unfortunately my case, and it looks like it's going to be raining on Saturday. Tip number 13. This can be tricky if you're taking into account tip number 12, but tip number 13 is scout the area where you're going to be playing beforehand. This is that where people usually put up lures, where Pokemon commonly spawn, so you can set up a route so you can walk through as many lures as you possibly can. I usually play at the same place every single Community Day, so I know really good routes to run in a circle and run through as many lures as possible. And when I say run, I literally mean run. I'm tired of these Community Days just walking around. I'm going full sprint. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the tips. I guess the most important tip is have fun. I know that's super cheesy, but I've done a whole bunch of other Community Days. I've had a great time at all of them, but Charmander is a Pokemon that is very near and dear to my heart. It was my first ever fire starter in Pokemon Blue after I stopped picking Squirtles and Bulbasaurs. I started with Squirtle several times after getting Blue because I thought I had to pick the Pokemon that matched the one that was on the cartridge, so I always picked the one that looked like the Blastoise, the turtle Pokemon. Then after my friends told me that, hey, you can actually pick different Pokemon, and I was like, oh man. And then one time I restarted the game and I was like, hey, my rival keeps kicking my butt with this Bulbasaur, so maybe I should pick that one. And also, I don't know if any of you guys played Gen 1 or you remember what the Charmander sprite looked like in Pokemon Red and Blue, but he looked like a jerk in Pokemon Red and Blue, so that's why I didn't want to pick him. So I picked Bulbasaur, and after finally getting to the stage where I evolved it into a Venusaur, previously I had seen Venusaur from the front, and I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool Pokemon. But then when I got my own Venusaur for the first time, the back sprite in Pokemon Blue for Venusaur looks like a soggy old boot. I was like, wait a minute, my final stage Pokemon looks like a soggy old boot. That's not cool. And then freaking Gary throws in his Charizard. I'm like, wait a minute, where'd you get that? And then I restarted the game, and I picked Charmander, and I got a Charizard. And I've been picking the fire starters ever since. So yeah, that's my quick history with Charmander and Charizard and the fire starters. And I do kind of regret that I evolved my starter a year ago. There it is, 7/17/2016, the release date in Canada. So unfortunately my starter isn't going to be able to get Blast Burn. Just in case there's a bug where you aren't prevented from getting Blast Burn with Charge TMs, I'm going to be Charge TMing my starter a couple times. Fingers crossed, hope that there's a bug that I end up getting Blast Burn. If not, we're going to settle with Overheat. It's still pretty good. So that's my little prep video, my community day guide to maximize your efficiency so you can turn your orange Charizards into black Charizards. Oh yeah, this shiny's freaking sweet, but this plush looks really weird. This one's official Pokemon Center merch from Japan. I don't know where this one came from. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this community day. I'm going to have a great time. Looking forward to get a whole bunch of shiny Charizards, and hope you guys get a whole bunch of them as well. And I'm really looking forward to meeting up with a whole bunch of my friends at the beginning of the event, and then as soon as it starts, I'm just gonna bolt, and they're gonna be like, where'd he go? And then they're all gonna be doing loops, and I'm just gonna lap them like 17 times. I don't care. I'm just gonna pass them like, bye, I got 12, I'm gonna keep going. It'll be like a hurricane. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that, and maybe other community days in the future. Hey, what are you doing here? It's not your time yet. Get back. One day. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like down below if you found some of that information useful, and leave a comment to let me know if you are freaking excited for this event. And if you see this after the event, then let me know how many shinies you got. If you want to see my video from the event, then hit the subscribe button down below. I'm going to be filming before and after the event with my camera. During the event, not so much. I'm just going to be going handheld, 2 hands on the phone. Going to be recording the screen so I get all those shiny reactions, but I'm not going to be recording with a camera because that would slow me down. I'm going to be recording like the little bubble on the screen of the face cam, so there's that. But other than that, yeah, the cool stuff will be from before and after. I'll record the evolutions with the camera. But other than that, the camera's going to slow me down. You know we're all about that efficiency. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.